when the mighty Empress couldn't escape the balcony rail. The city of Arveth glistened beneath the first light of dawn, its towers reaching toward the heavens like a forest of silver spears. At the heart of this sprawling metropolis, the grand palace of the Empress Lysera gleamed with opulence unmatched across the known world. Lysera, whose name alone commanded respect and fear, had ruled Arveth for nearly 2 decades, her reputation as a cunning strategist and unyielding leader preceding her wherever she went. Yet, for all her power, there were moments that reminded even the mighty that they were human, or at least prone to misfortune. It began that morning when Lysera, restless and sleepless, decided to survey the city from her private balcony. Wrapped in a robe of midnight blue silk, embroidered with threads of gold that shimmered like starlight, she stepped lightly onto the marble balcony. The cool air kissed her skin, carrying with it the scent of jasmine from the gardens below. For a moment, she allowed herself a rare indulgence. She leaned on the railing and let her gaze wander, drinking in the sight of Arveth waking. But fate, it seemed, had its own plans. The balcony rail, a masterpiece of wrought iron twisting like vines, suddenly betrayed her. A small section, weakened by years of rain and neglect, gave way under her weight. Lysera's heart leaped into her throat as she stumbled, arms flailing. Her instinct for survival kicked in immediately, yet the sheer physics of the situation mocked her. Her hands gripped the railing, but her heels slipped against the smooth marble floor. "By the gods!" she hissed, realizing the precariousness of her situation. The city below, magnificent and sprawling, looked impossibly far away. The thought of falling, of leaving the palace and her throne to the whims of gravity, ignited a fierce panic. She tried to pull herself up, twisting her body in a desperate attempt to regain balance. The balcony rail, for all its beauty, seemed almost sentient in its resistance. It wouldn't let her go, yet wouldn't let her stay. For the first time in her life, the mighty Empress felt powerless. Her mind raced. Guards were nearby, patrolling the palace corridors, but they wouldn't hear her cries over the morning bustle. Her usual confidence, the aura of authority that allowed her to command armies and bend treaties to her will, was useless now. The marble beneath her fingers was smooth, offering no purchase. The wind teased her hair, whipping it into her face, and Lysera's breathing grew ragged. Then a voice called out from below, "Your Majesty!" It was Jaren, her chief of guards, dashing across the courtyard with a rope in hand. His eyes were wide with alarm, yet his training kept him focused. He had always been loyal, the one person who anticipated her boldest moves and reckless whims. "Don't panic," he shouted, though even his own voice trembled slightly. "Grab the rope." Lysera's arms strained as she attempted to reach the offering, but the balcony rail's twisted iron held her stubbornly. She tugged with all her strength, but it was as though the railing had grown roots in the marble, refusing to release its captive. For a brief, terrifying moment, she considered the unthinkable, that she, the unyielding Empress, might actually fall. Then something shifted in her. Lysera's panic gave way to a cool, calculating focus. She surveyed her surroundings, her robe caught on a nearby finial, her foot wedged against the decorative stone ledge, and realized that brute force wasn't her ally. Strategy was. With a careful twist and a swift kick, she shifted her weight, leveraging the railing like a fulcrum. The twisted iron creaked, groaned, and finally, gave just enough to allow her to inch toward the rope. Jaren caught it, his arms taut as he held the other end. With a mighty heave, he pulled her in, and Lysera collapsed onto the marble balcony, breathless and trembling but alive. For a long moment neither spoke. Then Lysera, ever the Empress, lifted her chin and straightened her robe. The faintest smile tugged at her lips, one that was equal parts relief and defiance. "You see," she said softly, more to herself than to Jaren, "even the mightiest sometimes need a little assistance." Jaren merely nodded, careful not to scold her, knowing better than to question the Empress's pride. The city below shimmered in the morning light, innocent of the near disaster that had unfolded above. Lysera allowed herself one last glance at the view, then stepped back into the safety of her chambers. And as the balcony door closed behind her, the mighty Empress felt something she had not in years: humility. Not the humility of weakness, but the humility of survival. Even the most powerful ruler could be caught off guard, restrained by forces she could not command. Yet in that vulnerability, Lysera discovered a new kind of strength, the knowledge that even when trapped, even when the world seemed ready to betray her, she could endure. The balcony rail, twisted and silent, bore witness to the truth. Power is not only measured by command or conquest, but by the grace with which one survives the impossible. And the Empress Lysera, mighty and unbroken, would remember that lesson for the rest of her reign. Lysera lay on the marble balcony, chest heaving, the rope clutched in Jaren's firm hands. For the first time in decades, the unyielding Empress felt vulnerability claw at her, a humbling sensation she had long denied herself. The balcony rail, twisted and betraying, had held her hostage, and yet she had survived. Slowly, she pushed herself upright, brushing midnight blue silk from her shoulders. Her eyes met Jaren's, and for a fleeting moment, no commands passed her lips. Only gratitude, quiet and unspoken, lingered between them. "You see," she murmured almost to herself, "even the mightiest cannot escape everything alone." The wind carried the scent of jasmine from the gardens below, mingling with the city's awakening hum. Lysera allowed herself a small, wry smile, the kind reserved for victories that came not from power, but from endurance. She had faced the impossible, and though she had been caught, she had adapted, survived, and reclaimed her footing. Jaren lowered the rope, bowing slightly but offering no praise. The Empress's triumph needed no words. Lysera stepped back into her chambers, her gaze lingering on the balcony one last time. The rail, twisted and silent, seemed almost chastened, as if acknowledging its failure to restrain her. In that quiet reflection, Lysera understood a truth deeper than conquest. Power is not merely the ability to command or control, it is the strength to endure when the world threatens to unmake you. And so, the mighty Empress remained unbroken, tempered by a rare humility, and forever aware that even the most formidable rulers are not invincible. The city of Arveth stretched before her, magnificent and unyielding, yet she knew that her true mastery lay in surviving the moments when survival seemed impossible. The balcony rail would never trap her again.